fighting resistance from your point of view.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you.
You've done a great job.
I'm Barbara Heller, and for about 5 years now, we have been asking students to come and join us, and it's at no cost to them. Sometimes we get different schools, which is great. This year we have Tamalpais High School, Dominican University.
Eat the microphone.
Tamalpais High School, Dominican University, College of Marin. So we have some wonderful student leaders. I will introduce them, but I'd like to thank the committee that does the work, and that's Gina Brewer, Tammy Cole, and Frida Winnick. So they do a lot of work and a lot of phone calls. So let me start with Tamalpais High. We have Sarah Marufi. Thank you, Barbara. I can't pronounce it. Secretary. Are you here? Oh, yeah. Don't want to just stand. Thank you. Robin Weissenberg, Vice President, Junior Class.
Hey, Robin.
In Dominican University, Catlin Bird, Ruby Pantana. Oh, dear. Intern. Microphone to all the women. Laurel Drook, Intern Kelly Thompson, Director, Ambassadors. And then we have Rachel Trina Grandin, Vice President. Dina. Clara Mooson, representative for Alaska. And Brunella Barvis, she's here. I'm happy that a couple people are here that I didn't check in. But College of Marin, we have Brittany Barges, as ASCOM Director of Public Relations. And Crystal McCara, she's the treasurer of ASCOM. ASCOM auxiliary member. And then last we have Alana Barton, ASCOM Vice President. And I will be handing out certificates from
The Congresswoman.
yeah.
Oh, what's her name?
Yes, from Congresswoman Lynn Woolsey, because we very much appreciate your giving up some time and coming to this. So be sure, I'll be over here afterwards. Be sure and see me and get your certificate. Thank you.
Next, Superintendent Mary Jane Burke will say a few words. Superintendent Burke started her career in education in 1971, working as a volunteer for severely disabled students. She built her career over the years and was subsequently elected in 1994 to Superintendent of the Marin County Schools and holds that position today. Thank you.
For the opportunity. My words are going to be focused on the young women that are here, and so this is especially for you. You've probably heard that there are two great philosophical questions. One, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Or two, are leaders born or are they made? Well, I definitely don't know the answer to the question about the chicken or the egg, but the answer about leaders is yes. They're born, and of course they are made based on the incredible opportunities and experiences they have. You can find a lot of literature that will list various characteristics about leadership. You have to live what you say, walk the walk, and not just talk the talk. Leaders are passionate about their causes. You have to have vision and enlist others to share that vision. Enlisting others means daring to risk rejection, disapproval, abandonment, and even persecution. Leaders are pioneers. They venture out, they take risks, they foster collaboration, And very importantly, they enlist trust. They make it possible for others to shine and achieve, and leaders celebrate success and victory. Leaders are honest, forward-looking, inspiring, and of course, competent. And as young women, you can learn by studying about leaders in history and observing leaders like the women in this room. For example, our very own Congresswoman, Lynn Woolsey. Woo! I know. Congresswoman Woolsey spent her life fighting for things that matter. Children, families, better schools, affordable, accessible health care, adequate housing, clean environment, and a safer, more peaceful world. She's called the conscience of Congress because of her willingness to take principled stands, not always popular stands, not always majority stands, even in her own party. She teaches us that it's better to be on the morally right side of an issue than on the popular side. That, young women, is the mark of a true leader. As young women, you can assert your intellect and develop your talents, your causes, and your leadership style. And as young women, there is no question that you will change the world. A very good friend of mine and a leader was just recently assisting me in a conversation about a difficult decision I had to make. And many in this room will know this incredible woman. Her name is Ethel Siderman. While not a woman who's, quote, elected in a formal way, she very often serves as the conscience of our community. And she provided me this quote. And the quote came at the time that segregation in our schools was declared unconstitutional. And this person said, anything that I ever did that was worthwhile, I caught hell for.
Yeah.
Which of course is often the price of leadership. Each young woman in this room is already showing that you're a leader, and because of you, we obviously have hope for a better future. And who knows, out of this room may come someone who one day will be addressed in the White House as Madam President.
Yay!
And right. And by the way, when you are, hopefully that will no longer be a novelty. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Superintendent Burke.
Thank you.
Next, Pam Torliat will be introducing Congresswoman Woolsey, but I'd like to say a few words about Pam first. Pam was appointed to the Petaluma City Planning Commission in 1992 and was the youngest appointee in the history of that agency. She was then elected to the Petaluma City Council in 1996 and was mayor of the city in 2006. Pam?
Yay, Pam.
Thank you, Michelle. And Mary Jane said it very well about our Congresswoman, and it is my pleasure today to be able to introduce her. I have two things that I wanted to share with you. One is, when I graduated from college, I came home and I wanted to get involved in my community. And this is a lesson not only for you as young women, but anyone in this room. What you do is you seek out those leaders, those elected officials, and you go talk to them. And that's what I did, and I went and talked to my councilwoman, Lynn Woolsey, at the time. And what did Lynn say? Lynn said, "You want to get involved?" I said, "Absolutely." And as you heard, I've been on the Planning Commission, I've been an elected official as a council member, and I was mayor for 4 years of the city of Petaluma. That is how you can get involved, get inspired. You need to have mentors. And I know every elected woman in this room is willing to be a mentor. not only for young women, but other women to get involved in elected office. So the second thing I wanted to impart with you that pertains to our Congresswoman Lynn Woolsey is the fact that we need more elected women in office. Yay! And we are so proud to have Lynn representing us. It will be 20 years now. 20 years. And we are so lucky to have a woman, as Mary Jane said, that will step out, be the conscience of Congress, and represent us as pro-choice women that will push the rest of the women up the ladder, because we need to see more equality and us represented on bodies like Congress and, as Mary Jane said, the President of the United States of America. So it is my pleasure to introduce a wonderful woman, an effective woman, a strong woman, and one that we want to continue to represent us, Congresswoman Lynn Woolsey.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for the rallying cries. They're wonderful. Thank you for having me here today at this amazing, amazing lunch. I've been in D.C. almost every year for the last 5 or 6 when you had your annual luncheon and felt so cheated that I couldn't be here with you. But it's wonderful to be here among strong women and dear friends. There's hardly a face out there, maybe some of you young women, because I haven't known you yet. There's hardly a face out there, women and men, that I don't recognize and don't know to be true, valiant workers for this community. And I thank you for considering me part of this. Thank you. Mary Jane, thank you for all of your leadership. And Pamela, thank you for letting me mentor you all these years. Thank you very much. You have always made me proud. Thank you. She didn't tell you she was dating my son.
Years ago.
But, you know, she'd come to the city council meetings, and he got bored with it because he lived with it, you know. And she just got rid of him and just kept going to the city council meetings. What an amazing honor it is to be here with student leaders. Meeting all of you and seeing you at your tables, you make me so confident about the future of our country. You know, young people are only 25% of our population, but you young people are 100% of our future. Woo! And we are in good hands with the next generation of women leaders like yourselves. So thank you very much. When you think about it, does any place in the United States do a better job of electing women to office than we do in the Bay Area? On the statewide level, we're lucky to have 2 formidable women representing us in the United States Senate. We're one of just a few congressional districts that share the distinction of being represented by a woman in the House for 28 straight years, and that's just 2 women, Barbara Boxer and myself. And why? Because of you. Because of organizations. Hey, whoever's phone is, turn it off. If you're gonna be a leader, know that. Because of you, because of organizations like Marin Women's PAC, because you've invested time, resources, and passion in the process, you make me so grateful because I have benefited from your leadership and your experience. Now, I wish I could report that the same progressive spirit I see in this room is thriving in the House of Representatives. You don't know how much I wish. You know, I've been in the House, this is my 10th term, my 18th year, and when I'm finished, with this term, it'll be 20 years. I will have served in the majority for only 6 of those 20 years. Wow. Never before have I thought that I couldn't get a whole bunch done because of the way my office works, because of the support I have in my community, and because you can do it if you know the ropes. But I don't feel that way right now. It is really, really difficult. But as you know, we're under new management, and for the most part, that new management is very hostile to our values. While the last Congress, led by Speaker Nancy Pelosi, worked with the President to bring the nation back from the brink of another depression, the new House of Majority now wants deep and dangerous spending cuts that would cost at least 700,000 jobs. And that's probably underestimating it greatly. A year ago this week, we saw the culmination of decades of work when President Obama signed the Affordable Health Care Act into law. Finally, we passed a law to fix a broken health care system, rein in runaway costs, and move toward universal coverage. So naturally, no surprise, one of the first things the new majority did was move to repeal this groundbreaking reform. While we fought to increase education access from preschool all the way to college, the new majority is hell-bent on cutting every single thing from Head Start to Pell Grants. So if they get their way, fewer low-income women will be able to improve themselves through higher education, and fewer women will be able to give their children early learning opportunities at that crucial moment of brain development. And being a woman will again be a pre-existing condition for health care coverage. Look at the conservative attack around the country on public employee unions. Who represents a disproportionate percentage of the teachers and state government workers? Women, of course. So when pensions and collective bargaining rights are attacked, that's a dagger aimed right through the heart of working women, their families, and their economic security. Yep. But I don't know that anything has made me angrier than the right-wing attack on Planned Parenthood and Title X. They want to eliminate all public funding, not just cut a little bit, but completely zero out this successful family planning program, a program that has enjoyed bipartisan support for over 40 years. Of course, it's about more than just family planning. Millions of low-income women depend on Title X for their primary health care. As usual, the cultural warriors on the right are trying to divide the country, once again over abortion. But what they're really doing is denying women the mammograms, the pap smears, and the cervical examinations that keep them healthy and alive. You see, in a sense, all issues are women's issues. And when times are tough, usually they're especially tough for women. That's true of the underperforming economy. Women are bearing the brunt of this recession. But it's also true in areas where you might not expect. Take the war in Afghanistan. Now, believe me, there are a lot of reasons to oppose that war, which, of course, you know, I do. But one of the underreported stories and silent horrors is a terrifying epidemic of rape and military sexual trauma. It fills me with both rage and sadness because women in the service don't just have to fight the enemy. They have an additional burden of fighting off sexual predators in their own ranks and their fellow troops and officers who are supposed to be looking out for them. But the very fact that we've begun to talk about this issue, and we have begun, it's a whisper, but it's got to be a scream. The military acknowledges that it does exist, finally, is a sign of progress, however small. The bottom line is that it matters when women are in power. It matters that the last 3 of the last 4 secretaries of state have been women. It matters when women show leadership, and I'm not just talking about women in government and politics. It matters when women show leadership in churches, in communities, and in workplaces, and it matters when young women in school take on leadership over your organizations, the ones you're interested in. You know, I always tell young people, you don't have to be the leader. You have to be a good team player if you're interested in something. And then if the leadership's not there, take over. In the 1980s, it took a very strong and famous woman who died this very week, Elizabeth Taylor, to stand up to President Reagan and say that we can no longer ignore the AIDS crisis. And she was successful. So as Women's History Month comes to an end, Women's History Month that started in Sonoma County, I hope you all know, I find myself thinking of iconic women like Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman, like Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, who were on the cutting edge of social change. And I find myself thinking about the 146 anonymous, mostly immigrant women who died at the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire in New York exactly 100 years ago, this very day. They worked under deplorable conditions in a sweatshop because that's the job they could get, because that's what it took to support their families, because they didn't have a choice, because they didn't have a union to bargain for better conditions, because they didn't have a government that enforced any standards for workplace protection. A century later, women, yours truly, serve as a woman, me, serves as the ranking member of the House Subcommittee on Workforce Protection. The last 2 years, I was the chair of that committee, and believe me, I think that's a much better role. But every day, I'm fighting to make sure our workers, women and men, are safe on the job, because we have to bring worker safety into the 21st century. Women are affected both as the spouses of workers who are hurt and injured and killed, as well as on the jobs that they do themselves. And during Women's History Month, I find myself thinking about my own history. I find myself remembering how scared I was in my early 30s when my family was in crisis, and I had to go back to work when, I graduated high school, by the way, in 1955, and Good Housekeeping magazine was my Bible. And I never intended to work after I had my children. And I had 1, 3, and 5-year-old children, and their dad was emotionally ill and would not get help, so it was up to me. But that was in 1967, and when I went for my first job interview, I had to lie about the state of my marriage. I had to lie about my child care situation, and they could, if they wanted to, ask me, was I going to have any more children? Did I use birth control? I mean, they had every right to do any of that. Yeah, that's what happened. But I told the lies I had to tell, and I got my foot in the door, and I actually got the first job I interviewed for. I was lucky that someone took a chance on me. I was a single mom, 29 years old. My children were 1, 3, and 5 years old, and we were on aid for dependent children as well as going to work, and somebody had to take a risk. Certainly the federal system did. They were the safety net we needed, and I was hired right away, and it made all the difference in the world. But I worked hard, and we struggled a great deal, and we persevered to the point that I was eventually able to launch my own business, and here I am. So, during Women's History Month, I actually think less about women's history now and more about women's future. The young women, the students in this audience, and all of your peers have to know that we've been waiting on you and we're counting on you. As I said, you are our future. We've done our best. The women and men in this room, I mean, we have worked hard. We have done a lot. You'd think we've made it, but everything we do, somebody tries to take away. But they never can take it all away. And because we wanted to give you a world of greater freedom and a world full of opportunity. But what's more amazing than what we did is how far we've come, but how much further we have to go. That glass ceiling is still there. We're bumping up against it, but we haven't quite shattered it. So we are passing that hammer to you. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with it. I can't wait to travel new heights under your leadership, because I know you are going to be the leaders of the future. And I thank you all so much for having me today. Thank you. I don't know if you know, CNN is here because they're going to interview me about this. But I do have 5 minutes for questions, and I'm more than willing. So, the young students, do any of you have questions? I know all of you do, so let's hear it.
Lynn.
Yes.
What action do you plan on taking about in regards to the veteran women or women in the military who are suffering?
What are we going to do about the women in the military who are suffering so desperately? It's almost 99% of the women troops that are harassed and raped. We had a press conference not this week, but last week. Barbara Lee, Lynn, Woolsey, and a group of us. And we are bringing it forward. We've got legislation that's going... it's all, we don't get to say what legislation comes to committee and what legislation comes to the floor when we're not in charge. But we are going to start the drumbeat, and it's really important that from the grassroots, the leadership of this country learns and hears how important this is to all of you. It's really important. I mean, there has to be punishment for those that do it. There has to be safeguards for the women. They should never have to worry about this.
I'm a veteran of Iraq, and I appreciate you taking action on this.
Well, thank you very much. This young woman is in Iraq. Thank you for your service. Stand up. Honor this woman. Okay, I'm gone. I'm going to go eat. Thank you.
Hi, I'm the membership chair. I might be out of order, but I wanted to get you all before you all take off after this wonderful meal and this wonderful speeches. Thank you, ladies. Those of you who are not yet members, please consider joining the new Marin Women's Political Action Committee. We're not the old WPC. We're a new group. We're independent. We keep all of our dues for the women that we support. We have lots of events like this one. On May 7th, we're going to have a wonderful candidates training for anybody who's considering becoming a candidate. See me afterwards, and I'll let you know where that is. But we do have some membership forms floating around. It's $35 a year, and then you get to vote in our endorsements, and you get to be a member, and you get all this wonderful activity. You get our newsletters. We have a great new website that is just really beautiful that John over here is filming today, helped put up, and he's streaming this event live today. So we're really enjoying the 21st century. So those of you who can, join us.
And also on April 14th, the Democratic Party is having a reception for elected Democrats. So any of you who are elected Democrats, you're welcome to come. And anybody who's just interested in meeting your representatives or might consider being a candidate, it's going to be at Falkirk from 5:30 to 7:30. It's free. We'll have food and wine and other goodies. We will accept donations, of course, because all that money goes to our Democratic candidates. So hope to see you at one of our events soon. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. As you can tell, this is one of our more successful luncheons. And Congresswoman Lynn Woolsey was very kind to come to our event. She has supported us over the years, and I know that we all continue to support her. I really appreciate everybody's attendance. Another plea to those of you who are not members yet to join our organization, because it really is a lot of fun. I think you're all having fun today, and that's one of our top priorities, along with getting women elected to office. So if you haven't had a chance to sign up and join our organization, we certainly hope you will. We have a website. We're live streamed right now, and there will be videos of Lynn's speech on our website. It's mwpac.org. So please check our website and continue to come to our events. Our next one, May 7th, is the training for potential candidates. We always can use volunteers to help. It's a good way to meet your fellow officials in the county. It's really nice to know who your local officials are, and this is a great way to meet them and work with them. And it's just a wonderful organization. So thank you again for coming. No rain, yay! The weather gods are looking out for us today. So birthday May 24th. We're going to have our 1-year anniversary of our new organization on May 24th, and we will have a birthday party, and that will be on our website. So stay tuned. Thanks again for coming. Yay!
I just want to say one last thing. I really want to thank the committee that put this together, especially Barbara Matass, who has done so much. Barbara, can you name the list of the people who have helped put this together? Thank you.
Well, we do have a very active board. Michelle is our president, and on our program committee, we have Dottie Lemieux, Frida Zolan, Lisa Max, Ronita Egger. I think that's it. Oh, Barbara Heller. And also Gina Brewer is our publicity person. She's done a great job here. And anyway, we are a good group. And we also have great board meetings and fun stuff. Anyway, hope you guys will join us, and hope somebody runs for office.
Oh, thanks, Becky, for nominating Barbara. Oh, well, thank you, love.